parents to do research and examine data from Sweden, where sex reassignment surgeries and treatments have been going on for years.
And now these children that did this really young, they're getting older now. And what's happening to them now? What's the suicide rate?
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another video. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everybody that watches the video. You guys already know what to do. Smash that like button, hit the bell icon, leave a comment, watch the video all the way through to the end, and hit the buttons at the end of the video. All right, so let's talk about woke. All right, because you know, if you go woke, you go broke. Man, I'm telling you, them folks have misconstrued the meaning of that word for so long now. People are just calling anything woke. But what I'm trying to figure out is how anti-black racism and slavery reparations cause them folks to have issues like this. What we're going to be talking about here is an individual named Chris Beck. And Chris Beck, if I'm not mistaken, was a former Navy SEAL who went through some type of psychological trauma, and he went to see a psychiatrist. And I guess in his visits, he came to the realization that, quote unquote, he was actually a woman. The psychiatrist, quote unquote, co-signed that. And then he began to, quote unquote, transition. I guess after a duration of time when he was living as a woman, he found that he didn't like it and he wants to, quote unquote, revert. Now he has an issue and says that, quote unquote, the left and being woke destroyed his life. So what I'm trying to figure out, and to all the white people and other of them folks who watch this video, is what does any of this have to do with black politics?
Transsexual Robb. The former Navy SEAL who lived as a transsexual for the last 10 years says he's no longer trans. Appearing on the Robbie Starbucks show, Chris Beck, formerly known as Kristen Beck, suggests he became transsexual in 2012 because he suffered from adjustment disorder and wanted to get rid of the caveman he had become.
Wanted to get rid of the caveman that he'd become. I'll let the comment section take care of that comment there.
Some trauma, you know? And now I'm walking into a psychologist's office, and one day I had a letter in my hand saying I was transgender. I was authorized hormones, I was authorized all this other stuff.
Just 1 hour with a VA psychiatrist, and Beck began the transgender transition. Beck is a highly decorated Navy SEAL who served in the military for 20 years. He told...
Yeah, he was a highly decorated Navy SEAL, and then he became decorated with sequins and red-bottom shoes.
Starbuck that he paired the words that he was told by psychologists and liberals who profited from his gender dysphoria. He likens it to brainwashing and says he was told he could make millions of dollars. He and...
So this is what, somehow apparently, this is what critical race theory and, you know, the 1619 Project and anti-black racism does to white people. Because remember, this is quote unquote woke.
Professor of psychiatry and Speckard wrote the book Warrior Success. Beck explained that groups gave him awards for simply walking into a room. They'd tell him how courageous he was. Really? I guess coming out as trans is more courageous than facing down the Taliban in Afghanistan or Al-Qaeda in Iraq? Although Beck became transgender after his military service, liberals used him to help advance their agenda to impose transgenderism on the U.S. military. The thinking was, if a former Navy SEAL could become trans, then why couldn't trans people serve in the military? Beck warns parents against giving their children hormones.
I don't think that there's any military out there other than the United States that wants to have a military full of, you know, those particular individuals who have to be medically stabilized. You know what I'm saying? But if you listen to the white right, they'll have you believe that this is what all black people are out there banging for.
We're allowing them to undergo gender reassignment surgeries. He says it's all about protecting the mental health and well-being of our nation's children. And he urges parents to do research and examine data from Sweden, where sex reassignment surgeries and treatments have been going on for years.
And now these children that did this really young, they're getting older now. And what's happening to them now? What's the suicide rate?
I'll tell you what happened, and it's very evident. What happened is he found that little young thing that's next to him, and he said, "Oh, can't do this. If I don't have the right equipment, let me get my thing taken care of so that I can, you know what I'm saying, handle this business and be happy for the rest of my life." That's what he said. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to act like it's this whole political agenda and this, that, and the other. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying that he possibly did not have any psychological issues, but that's what I've been saying from the jump, that when it comes to any kind of dysphoria, all dysphorias are a result of psychological issues that can only be treated with psychological therapy. You know what I'm saying? There's never been a time when surgery has been a remedy for psychological therapy, even in the cases of where people get the weight loss surgeries, even in the cases where people may get a breast augmentation or a breast, enlargement or a breast reduction, any of that kind of stuff. Regardless of what is done physically, if there's a mental issue, it's the mental healing that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, you know what I'm saying? He found that little young thing. She healed him up, got him right real quick. And he said, can't keep this up if I'm like this. So I got to get back to how it is. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it a buck.
What's happening to them now, and what are they looking at in their life? I look back on my life and I see how I destroyed everything in my life that was holy. The temp God, our bodies, what we have here. We're hurting our kids. Kids are dying. And I don't want that to happen. It's killing me because I helped do that. CNN and how they used me. Part of my image is hurting these kids. Everything that happened to me for the last 10 years it's horrible. They destroyed my life. I destroyed my life. I'm not a victim. I did it to myself. But I had some help.
He sure did, and so have others suffering from trauma or gender confusion. Beck says thousands of dysphoria clinics are now popping up around the country. And suddenly, transgenderism has become popular. A multi-billion dollar has been created. Folks, parents need to get some common sense here and put the long-term health of our children front and center. Like Planned Parenthood profiting from abortion, we now have a whole new industry making big bucks from hormone treatments and surgeries that alter the...
What he means about Planned Parenthood, let me just scrape some of the mayonnaise off of that sandwich. White people are encouraged to have kids, while white people encourage black people to kill their kids. That's what he actually meant. I don't know what was so hard about saying that, but I said it for him. You know what I'm saying?
Sex of our children. Beck rightly mentions 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, where Paul writes, "You know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you from God. You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body." Yes, we are made in the image of our Creator, male and female.
We're done with that. So what we got next is an article from New York Post. All right, and New York Post goes even more in depth about this situation with this guy, or with this whatever. Now, I don't know how you do that. Chris Beck. All right, I'm not sure how you classify somebody who, you know, has transitioned and then detransitioned. I'm not even sure if they have the adequate pronouns to be able to identify that properly. I honestly don't know if those terms exist. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try to utilize as much non-offensive terminology as I can while discussing this. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully I don't offend anybody. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully the video doesn't get struck. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube likes to do that. So here we are. All right, we have the article from New York Post, and it says retired Navy SEAL Chris Beck, who came out as trans, announces detransition. He says that it destroyed his life. You know what I'm saying? A retired Navy SEAL who became famous nearly 10 years ago after coming out as a trans announced he is detransitioning and called on Americans to quote unquote wake up. Oh, be careful, they might call you an anti-Semite. About how trans health services are hurting children. Everything you see on CNN with my face, do not even believe a word of it, Chris Beck says. So now here's my thing. If I'm not supposed to believe what I see on CNN, then with your face on it, then why should I believe what I just listened to on CBN with your face on it? Formerly known as Kristen Beck, told conservative influencer Robbie Starbuck in an interview published earlier this month, everything that happened to me for the last 10 years destroyed my life. I destroyed my life. I'm not a victim. I did this to myself, but I had help. I take full responsibility, he continued. I went on CNN and everything else, and that's why I'm here right now. I'm trying to correct that. Beck gained notoriety in 2013 when he spoke with CNN's Anderson Cooper about transitioning to a woman. I was used. I was very naive. I was in a really bad way, and I got taken advantage of. I got propagandized. I got used badly by a lot of people who had knowledge way beyond me. They knew what they were doing. I didn't, he said during the interview. Beck served in the U.S. Navy for 20 years, including on SEAL Team 6. He was deployed 13 times and received more than 50 medals and ribbons for his service. Beck said he's speaking out about trans to protect children and in the corrupt political climate where there are gender clinics all over America. All right, so here's a little snippet from this guy, Robbie Starbuck's little podcast, which I'm sure he has over 100,000 subscribers for, but only gets probably like about 200 people in the room. But anyway, you know, let's check it out.
May or may not have seen in 2013 an interview with a Navy SEAL, Chris Beck. He came out as a transgender Navy SEAL. But why we're here today is because of everything happening in America with this transition craze that's going on with kids. You have something that you want to tell the world. What is that?
Everything you see on CNN with my face, do not even believe a word of it. Everything that happened to me for the last 10 years, it destroyed my life. I destroyed my life. I'm not a victim. I did it to myself, but I had some help.
Transgender ideology is cultish, and it's not based at all. They take that desire, that innate human desire to want to change and want to help people, and they use it.
Innate human desire to want to change. Let me ask everybody in the comment section, do you guys have an innate desire to want to change?
Just like a cult. And the parents are so desperate to fit in with this ideology because of the fear of the us, them. They don't want to be othered. So now they're using the children as these trophies of like, look at me. I have a child that I'm accepting of.
Now, let me ask you that, because that's actually an interesting point that woman brought up. And I want to ask you guys a question about Gabriel Union and about D Wade. Do you think that their child is being used like that? Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Okay, so now here it says there are thousands of gender clinics being put up all over America, he said. As soon as kids go in and say, I'm a tomboy, or this makes me feel comfortable, and then a psychiatrist says, oh, you're trans. Then the next day you're on hormones, the same hormones they are using for medical castrations on people who are qualified as the P word. And you guys can see that P word right there. Now they are giving this to healthy 13-year-olds. Does this seem right? He asked. This is why I'm trying to tell America to wake up. Beck said that when he began transitioning, it took just an hour-long meeting at the Veterans Affair to be offered hormones. I walked into a psychiatrist's office, and in one day, I have a letter in my hand saying that I was trans. I was authorized for hormones. I was authorized for all this other stuff, Beck said. I had so much going wrong in my system when I started taking those, he added. Some of that was paid for by the VA, and I'm sorry to the American people that I did that. Beck says that he's been off hormones for about 7 years now. This is $1 billion industry between psychologists, between surgeries. between hormones, between chemicals, between follow-up treatments, he continued. There are thousands of gender clinics popping up all over the country. And with each of those gender clinics is going to be pulling in probably over $50 million. Fox News Digital reached out to Beck and CNN on Sunday, but did not immediately receive replies, which means that at some point they did receive replies. They just haven't published them yet. Because usually if they didn't get any replies at all, then they would have said they have not replied. So yeah, this is what woke means when it comes to those people. So now my question is, what the hell does that have to do with us? Let me know in the comment section. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice, smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, follow my backup channels and all of my other social media, and I will catch you all on the next video. All right, peace.